Hot off the press, here is Ethan with the update on the Ethan entrepreneurial story. You guys, I am obsessed with telling the story and documenting my entrepreneurship, whether it's through this podcast, whether it's through my YouTube, Instagram, or whatever platform is popping at the time that I can post content on, because a big reason here is this is a huge investment for me. And yeah, it's leading sales to my business, and yeah, it's fun, and it just makes everything in the business and everything more exciting and just more adrenaline to have documentation and more people invested in it. And I think that's a huge reason why I'm doing it, if I'm being honest. But one of the hugest reasons is that I think that my kids are listening to this right now. I honestly do. And I've been thinking about that over the past week, and I thought, what do I want to tell them? First, I want to tell them, I thought if I could ask someone that I looked up to questions about when they were my age. If my kid's listening to this, or maybe it's not my kid, maybe it's anyone that can get value that's my age, they want to know what's going through my head right now. First thing I would want to know from them is, what were they doing? And so you guys probably already know what I'm up to, but let me give you a more in-depth update, because that's number one. I would want to know what exactly your boy Ethan is doing, whether I'm your dad, whether I'm a mentor to you, whether I'm someone that you think looks funny on Instagram and you like to make fun of, whatever it may be. First thing I want to know, looking back, is what were they doing? And so what I'm doing right now is I'm taking a breather. I just had a realization in my company. I'm not taking a breather as far as hustling and grinding on this business, but I'm taking a breather to let my mind reset. I think one thing that Ethan does is overcomplicate things in his head. My mind, if you're listening to this and you can relate, this is gonna click for you. Our minds go so incredibly fast. Mine feels like it's on like the fastest freeway you could get with no speed limits. And the problem isn't that it goes so fast in one line. It's that it decides to make sharp turns and then go fast in that direction at the same time. If you can relate to that at all, you probably are a similar person to me. And that's what I've been doing my whole career, is pivoting really fast, having ideas, getting excited about them, and going like a totally different way. That worked with one store. That worked with two stores. It worked with two stores and a catering line, kinda. Then we started getting into where we're at now, which is 4 or 5 store range, and we're into multi-millions of dollars in revenue, 100+ employees. And I need to be thoughtful about this. I need to be thoughtful because, let me make it clear, I think that these changing my mind and running really fast in a separate direction, that's a strength. That's a strength. Your mind working like this, I truly believe it's a strength. It's the reason that you're listening to this right now. It's the reason I'm recording this right now, is because my mind's going so fast that it has the ability to just want and execute on more. And so it's good. In my business, that looks like I change my mind a lot on things. And the business changes and grows, and I need to pivot and make adjustments. That's what I'm doing right now. Basically, what I did at the beginning of the year is I laid out a structure of how a store was run at a store level, the structure, how the management above the stores would run, how everyone's going to get trained and hired. My whole operations manual, basically. You guys probably remember me talking about it. Here we are. It is now June, and so that is 6 months later, and that plan doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work anymore. I've made a couple major pivots, mostly with labor and scheduling of how the store runs, and my old plan no longer works. Combine that with, over the last 6 months, I've plotted and executed on hypergrowth. And it's been, to be totally honest, it's making me super anxious, because I know that I've committed to a lot of growth really fast, and I've got a lot of things to accomplish in this coming year. But my mind is still going so fast and pivoting, and it's all over the place. So I took a second to breathe. That's how I started this out. I took a second to breathe, and I thought about it. Okay, I'm like, all right, what am I gonna do for sure this year? What am I gonna do for sure this year? Because I started thinking about it. I was like, oh, I should probably check myself, because I might be at the max that even any human could possibly pull off in a year. And if that's the case, then perfect. Let's cap it. Let's document it. Let's say this is the plan for the year. And then let's go build a company that can sustain that plan. because right now I don't have a company that can sustain the type of plan that I have in the works. So that's what I've been doing over the last few weeks. First, I wrote out a plan for 2021, and this is it. Here we are right now today, and we have our original downtown store open. We have our location inside the Vivint Smart Home Arena. We now have a catering line that it can be looked at as an additional store. It does the same amount of revenue or more as a store's revenue. So we'll take that as number 3. We have our Mill Creek store that opened last June. We have now our West Jordan store. That's 5. That West Jordan opened a few months ago. We have now our distribution center, which makes and distributes all products in-house at Thirst Now to all the different stores. We have our pickup and delivery Thirst Underground line that does 5 p.m. to close, the full Thirst menu. So basically, I didn't realize it, but over the last 6 months, I went from having, or let's say over the last 13 months, I went from having one store downtown with a Vivint Arena to having not only Mill Creek, but Mill Creek, a full catering line that's going to do probably $1 million this year, West Jordan, the pickup line, all those different. I opened like 6 locations in a year, and I didn't even realize it. And me being the CEO that does everything, that wears all the hats, that worked awesome and amazing the first little bit, it doesn't work anymore. And I'm learning that the hard way because my managers, who I love so much and want to do nothing but support 24/7 and be there to make sure that they're winning in everything I ask them to do, and they feel completely supported and they have what they need. That's not happening because I literally do not have the bandwidth. And so it's hurting, it's putting stress on my managers. It's hurting the company. It's definitely hurting the company's performance. And here I am having this big plan, and I haven't even thought about how I'm going to pull it off. And so if you're listening to this and you're like me and you're anxious, because I'm anxious, I'll tell you a lot, all the time, you might want to take a step back for half a second, because I know that's pretty much impossible, but take a step back for half a second and look at, do the plans that you have, do you have an infrastructure to uphold that? Is it even feasible? And if it's not, build that infrastructure. And so that's what I'm doing. I laid out the plan completely. I brought in all the top people that are running this company with me right now that I have, and I said, hey guys, here are the things that I have for sure committed to in 2021. And that looks like this. All the stuff that I just told you. And so that would put us at a fully functioning distribution center that can distribute to as many stores as we want. That's what I have right now, and I'm perfecting right now. I have that underground pickup, and I have all those locations. What I'm going to do now is I just picked up my Wetzel's Powered by Thirst truck. I got back on Wednesday. I flew to Florida on Sunday, and me and 4 of us guys drove all the way back to Utah. First step in the plan is to blow up Wetzel's Powered by Thirst with an introduction using our truck. So the Wetzel's food truck is right now. That's happening right now. I'm finalizing all the licensing over the next couple weeks. We're going to have a grand opening. It's going to be amazing. From then on, I'm going to take the next 2 to 3 months to perfect and build my team. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this future plans that I have ahead of these 3 months, which I'll tell you in 1 second, and then I'm building an infrastructure over the next 2 months. But the rest of the plan is 3 more Thirst stores, Bountiful, Magna, and Provo, will be Thirst OG stores. What I mean by that is they're not Wetzel's Powered by Thirst stores. These are Thirst OG stores, Bountiful, Magna, and Provo, and I'm trying to open those all in the October range. As soon as we can get one done, if it's sometime in September, great. We're gonna pull the trigger, because we got to get 3 done by the end of October, and those are purebred Thirst stores. Those are 3 that I've already committed to and are for sure happening. Provo, Magna, and Bountiful. And it'll probably happen actually in the opposite order. Bountiful, Magna, Provo. I'm trying to have all 3 of those done by October. Next, we're gonna introduce the first Wetzel's Powered by Thirst brick and mortar, which, as you guys have the insight on at this point. But this is going to be our first ever store. It looks like it's going to be Layton. Layton is going to be a brand new build, and it's a Wetzel's Powered by Thirst store. That's going to open in November. So I'm going to open 3 purebred Thirsts by the end of October. Then I'm going to start focusing on Wetzel's, and I'm going to open 3 more by the end of the year. Layton, and then next is going to be our new build on the Boulevard in St. George. And then next is going to be a brand new build in Orem. So by the end of the year, I'm going to do the Wetzel's Thirst truck, which I just picked up. And I'm going to blow that up, do a grand opening, and introduce Wetzel's Powered by Thirst to the Twisted Nation. By the way, Twisted Nation is what I call the Wetzel's Powered by Thirst Nation. Thirsty Nation is the OG Thirst Nation. But I'm going to blow up the truck. Then I'm going to take 3 months to build my team and perfect. I'm focusing on hiring like crazy. Operations, training, manuals, processes, procedures, everything that it's going to take to do rapid hyper growth at the end of the year, because we're going to go 3-3. 3 purebred thirst stores and 3 Wetzel's powered by thirst stores. So I'm hiring a whole team for this. I'm hiring a financial controller. I'm hiring an HR person to take some load off the managers. I'm hiring area managers to withhold up to 4 stores. I'm separating out each of the different companies. I'm honing in my distribution center. I'm getting documented out everything it takes to open a perfect thirst. I'm doing my homework over the next 3 months. I don't want to say I'm going to be quieter, but I'm going to be getting ready, and it's going to be the calm before the storm. And I'm recognizing that, yeah, you have this anxiety, and it's because you haven't mapped your work and your company's infrastructure to this big mouth and these big plans that you're just going for like willy-nilly. So, Ethan, here's a wake-up call. And if I'm talking to myself right now, but this might be someone else that's listening that's could help you too. If you're feeling anxious, most of the time it's your fault, because you know exactly how to fix things. And so fix it. Like, I'm talking to myself as honestly as I could be, because I know that someone's listening that this can help. Like, if you're anxious about something, you know exactly how to fix it. Break it down with your practical brain, just like I did with my huge expansion of all my stores. Reverse engineer it. If you're opening a bunch of stores, perfect. Build a team and all the trainings and everything like I'm doing to get that done. If you're feeling anxious about something because of something else, go address that thing. You know exactly what to do. I'm talking to myself. This is the hardest thing of all time is to do things that you know are right, but are super hard for you to do for one reason or another. And like, whether or not you can push through that just completely defines you. And so I'm literally facing and experiencing that as we speak. Like, you more than likely bit off what you're anxious about. You bit off the ambitious piece of thing that you are anxious about. That means you know how to fix it. So just do it. Like, it's the hardest thing of all time, but if you can figure this one out, which I know that you can, I know that I can, it's going to be a game changer. And so that's my pep talk to me. And I hope that my kids are listening and it makes sense to you, because we think the same way. But I'm about to explode this company. I swear, if I pull this off, which I have really not much of a choice other than to pull it off, we're going to go this year we'll probably do 4 to 5 million in revenue this year in 2021. I bet in 2022, after all of these stores are open, we will easily do 13 to 15 million plus by the end of 2022. It's going to be an unreal year. We're going to go more than double the size, and we're going to have well over 200-300 employees. This is a tipping point. And at that point, that's where I know it's going to spiral. I'm positive about this. If we can pull this off, that's when it's going to spiral. Whether we decide to franchise and sell out the whole country, whether we power every single Wetzel's Pretzels by thirst, whether we decide to just build this perfect kingdom in Utah and build this massive brand that everyone looks up to and is this idolized monument that people come from all over the place to visit, whether we decide to sell the company for so much money that we pour it into this next thing that we go and change the world with, whether we decide tomorrow to accept an offer to sell the company and go do charity. Like, something, I know I'm at a tipping point, and I know it's not going to be that, like, I love charity, but it's not going to be that last thing. I'm in it for the game. Like, I know that this tipping, if you're an employee listening to me right now, or anyone on my team, like, I need you to know that this is the dang tipping point. I swear. If we pull this off, it's going to be one of the hardest things of all time. But after this, you don't see too many companies sitting at this level that I'm talking about. You don't see too many companies sitting at the 6 to 10 location level. Why? Because they usually get swiped up by a bigger one and blown into the whole country, or they never make it to the 6 to 10. So either we're going to not make it past where we are right now, or we're going to take it all the way to the big leagues. And you guys know what I'm going for. And so it's just a tipping point. And I think recognizing moments of like chaotic, like being the quarterback in a time like this I don't love anything more than it. Like, I love to be the leader right now. I love being at this tipping point, and it's all on me and my team to figure this out. Like, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. If you're on my team and you're listening to this, like, I hope you have goosebumps about what we're about to build, because I promise you that, like, there's room for everyone to make a massive impact in it. If this is being listened to years and years down the road, whether you're my kid or whether you have your own business, like, if you're at that tipping point level, you know it. You know it. And it's intense pressure. It's intense anxiety. But you know how to fix it. You know how to deal with it. That's why you're in that situation in the first place. And it's time to go. It's time to freaking figure this out. And so I'm in a very intense place, I feel like, with my business. That's why I want to do an update, because it's I'm about to, I swear, build one of the biggest things of all time, unless something monstrous stops us in our tracks. And so I am really pumped up about it. I'm super optimistic, but I can promise you that everything going on behind the scenes is not all optimistic. It's hard as crap. There's not money for everything. Like, there's internal problems. Like, it's not going perfect, but, like, this is wartime, baby. This is wartime, and I'm here for it, and I'm pumped about it. And that's all I got. Love you guys, and we'll see you soon. And hopefully we've got some more updates that execute on the plan I just told you about next time I come back.